So it's pretty rare when we get interviews from Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive, who's the parent company of Rockstar Games. We actually know that on May 16th, we're going to hear from Take-Two Interactive. They have an earnings call where we could potentially get some Rockstar Games news and info. There's nothing guaranteed, that's for sure. But Rockstar have proven in the past that usually right before or on the day of these executive meetings, they usually like to drop some information that can bolster the stock price of Take-Two Interactive or can give them something exciting to talk about. So long story short, everyone's got their eyes and ears peeled on this date, because we could be hearing something about Grand Theft Auto 6. Well, there was a podcast that I stumbled upon. It's called the Excelsior Podcast by Jordan Wasserberger. Their description is sit down, strap in, and snack away as we talk about your favorite shows, movies, video games, your favorite everything really. And on May 2nd, they got an exclusive interview with Strauss Zelnick. They said, this week on Excelsior, we're covering everything from Xbox Games Pass to GTA 6. With a very special guest. Come hang out as Jordan interviews Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive. And I was like, whoa, is Strauss Zelnick really going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6? And he does, in a way, a very typical way, but he does actually talk about him. However, before we go into that, there is one part of the interview that I do think is very interesting that I think could relate to GTA 6. And that is probably part of why the game is taking so long to actually come out. And Strauss Zelnick sort of outlines that the culture of making video games has changed. Take a listen to this right here.
And in that vein, Take-Two has an unbelievably diverse roster of games under its umbrella, right? I mean, Sid Meier's Civilization is undisputably the champ of those 4X strategy games. Next to Bungie, you are one of the pioneers of the looter shooter genre with Borderlands, and probably the most successful live service game of all time with GTA Online. And then similarly, you have Rockstar under your belt, which has created unbelievable single player experiences, both in GTA and in things like Red Dead Redemption. That kind of quality is only really possible when world-class studios have a culture of collaborative productivity that values quality and developer health over things like release windows, microtransactions, all that kind of stuff. At the same time, where Take-Two has been so successful over the past however many years, we've seen story after story of AAA developers with severe crunch time, job instability, and then an overall deeply toxic work environment. And so I want to know, how has Take-Two managed to keep up this unbelievable streak without compromising developer work life?
Well, we haven't been perfect at it. So there have been moments where we too have been criticized. I would say, in general, we're really proud of our culture. It has always been a culture of transparency, honesty, inclusion, and kindness, in service of very ambitious, creative, and business goals. And it's worked out. You know, we said we value eccentricity. We just don't accept bad behavior. Mm-hmm. And that's always been the case. So, and that tone is set at the top of the company, and we live it every day. And when tested, we make hard decisions. So I like to say culture like character is tested in the breach. It's easy to make the hard decisions when they're not hard. Yeah. When they're hard, it's a little bit different. But if you truly believe in your culture, then you have to make decisions that are in service of the culture. And that means certain people can't work at our enterprise. I think crunch, for example, which you mentioned, that's something that was common in the business, including our company until relatively recently. And our colleagues have basically just said, we don't want to do that anymore. You know, we're willing to work really hard on an ongoing basis, but we don't want to pull all-nighters. So we have to structure our schedules differently, and we are doing so.
So as you heard from Strauss Zelnick there, the culture of making video games is not the same anymore. You can't just pull all-nighters. You can't, tell your employees you got to work until your fingers hurt or bleeding, and, you got to make it perfect in this short amount of time. I would say more than ever, employees have so much power, and so they're not working on the weekend. They're not working overnight, and that might explain why a game like GTA 6, that's obviously going to take a significant amount of developer power, why it hasn't come out yet. Because maybe they aren't able to work as long and as hard in order to create this project. Now, I'm sure there's a ton of other reasons as well, but that definitely could be one big one right there that employees, developers, artists, animators, recording studio techs, they just simply aren't working as hard. And when I say not working as hard, they're not like working overnight and on the weekend and doing crazy hours where they're just exhausted. It's just not the nature of the business anymore.
Now, last year on May 18th, Rockstar Games and their parent company Take-Two Interactive held an investor call where they officially announced the release of GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced, and also released a full blog post about everything that the game will contain and all of the upgrades that we can expect. Now, GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced of course did come out, even though it was delayed by a few months, but now we are approaching this year's May quarterly investor call, which will take place on May 16th. Now, there's been a lot of talk both on the GTA forums, Reddit, and Twitter about Rockstar possibly revealing GTA 6 for the first time during this investor call. It's also worth noting that the current share price of Take-Two Interactive on the stock market is quite low, so it's very possible that they may want something to pump it up a little bit in the meantime, and I am sure that the announcement of GTA 6 is more than enough to do that. Now, this year's quarterly investor call will take place on May 16th around 4:30 p.m. EST. Last year, Rockstar posted a blog post announcing GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced a few hours before the call started, so it's very possible something similar can be happening this year around as well. Now, in addition to all of that, there's been a very interesting photo floating around Twitter and the forums showcasing a possible Take-Two Interactive presentation that was supposed to be internal, and on this presentation slide, it shows a lot of the games that they have yet to announce and when they are expecting to launch them. Now, most importantly, GTA 6 is at the very top of this page, and it says launching in calendar year 2024. Now, this isn't really breaking news because we've been discussing about the release being in 2024 for a while now, but this does confirm the rumors and the suspicion for a little while now, presumably if this is in fact real. Nonetheless, there's a lot of debate right now on the forums and on Twitter on whether Rockstar will be revealing GTA 6 during this investor call in about a week, or if they're going to be revealing it later this year around October or November, as we did discuss for a while now on this channel. I personally am hopeful that they will be announcing GTA 6 during the investor call next week. However, my gut is telling me that they are going to be announcing it later this year, probably in October or possibly even November.
Long-awaited sequel to Grand Theft Auto 5 has been speculated for many years, and the predictions never seem to slow down. To date, we know almost nothing about GTA 6 beyond the fact it's real and coming at some point. Almost no information has actually ever come from developer Rockstar Games or its parent company Take-Two Interactive, so it's hard for players to know which information to believe. If a news source is to be believed, official information could come in the way of a trailer very soon. The two people drawing a lot of attention to Grand Theft Auto 6 right now are musician and YouTuber Crypto1995 and actor and YouTuber El Nitro 56. It starts with Crypto1995 making a Twitter post reading GTA 6 is coming with a gif of the artist holding a Rockstar sticker. After that, he has updated his YouTube page with a mock-up banner featuring the possible GTA 6 logo, which immediately led to speculation that he could be involved in the game's soundtrack or have landed a voice acting gig. The fact that series developer Rockstar follows Crypto1995 on Twitter only added fuel to the fire. Things got even more interesting when El Nitro 56 came on the scene and started replying to Crypto9505 as well as various other GTA 6 rumor accounts. El Nitro 56 claimed that leakers were close to the truth and that further details would soon follow. He also indicated that a trailer for the game was just around the corner. As evidence, he posted a screenshot of the delayed entry on Twitter, where you can see the GTA 6 trailer announced May 13th. Another cryptic statement from El Nitro 56 said, "One city, two different times," perhaps referencing that Grand Theft Auto 6 would feature two timelines. This is a persistent rumor at this point. It all sounds pretty exciting, and there is no doubt that these rumors are exactly what gamers eager to get some concrete GTA 6 details want to hear. Unfortunately, neither of these sources has a proven track record when it comes to GTA insider information. We which means that everything they've said needs to be taken with an extremely large grain of salt. While it's certainly possible that both men could be doing music or acting for Rockstar, it's also possible that they are just excited fans sharing speculation that they've heard through the grapevine.